Hello, I'm Peter Carter. I'm director of the Climate Emergency Institute, and these days that's not a very happy position to be in. So, the latest big climate event news is that dangerous Donald Trump has hit the headlines again in an hour-long address to the United Nations General Assembly. He went over 3 times the allotted length, but of course that's what he does. So Trump told the United Nations, all the world leaders assembled in the United Nations Hall, your countries are going to hell. That's what he said. Trump's intent is actually sending other countries to hell by creating his conflict, his tariff war. And he's headed in the direction of dismantling other governments. We're already seeing signs of that in Europe. It's Trump's way of saying, this is Trump's way of saying, the United Nations can go to hell. And that's Trump. Trump used the United Nations General Assembly as his bully pulpit on behalf of the fossil fuel corporations that he represents. So he used the General Assembly. You know, he was up there, the United Nations behind him, big podium. He used the General Assembly for his aim of enforcing global suicide fossil fuels on the world. As I've said a number of times since Trump was elected for the second time, and it surely is clear now, Trump is the fossil fuel enforcer. That's what he does in the States, and that is what he's doing all over the world now. So Trump also said this: I'm telling you that if you don't get away from the green energy scam, your country is going to fail. This is what he told the General Assembly. All of these climate predictions, he said, made by the United Nations, he says, were wrong. He says they were made by stupid people. The carbon footprint, he says specifically, he calls that a hoax now. You remember he's called climate change a hoax many times. He says it's a hoax made up by, quote, people with evil intentions. So the man with the most evil intentions in the world is accusing the United Nations of evil intentions. He also said, and measures on mitigation of climate change, these countries, he says, are headed down a path to, quote, total destruction. He repeats, and he even beats, the fossil fuel corporations' language of climate change denial, which we've had to put up with since 1990, and it's never stopped since. Trump issued his own harsh indictment of immigration in European countries, of clean energy projects, and of the efficacy of the United Nations as an organization and institution, which the Republican-denying Trump administration wants to do away with. Because they're doing away with, they're wiping aside everything that could block their aim of total world domination. Trump says, in deriding the United Nations, to the United Nations Assembly, he says the UN is supposed to stop invasions, not finance them. Oh my God. Now, the United Nations, the fact is that we all know, is the means that we have of nations coming together in cooperation to achieve a peaceful world of civilized values. Of course, Trump doesn't recognize that. Trump wants all United Nations agreements to be ripped up so that his Great Again America can rule the world. And he's on the way to this. He has stated this, that they should be done away with. Pushed aside, has to be done in. On the United Nations, furthermore, Trump said, all they seem to do is write really strongly worded letters and then never follow that letter up. It's empty words, he said. All the great, fantastic work that the United Nations various departments do, they're doing the best work in the world. Not surprisingly, he called on nations to end the failed experiment of open borders, as his administration is doing to American immigrants. No country, of course, is more founded by immigration than the United States. A world of nations imposing the closure of borders would be the end of the nation and would sow international disorder, as Trump is doing. Throughout his address, he derided several particular renewable energy projects. And he said that climate change is the greatest con job perpetrated on the world. Trump is the con artist supremo. He then issued a warning to countries investing in these clean energy projects. He said, your country is going to fail, and I'm really good at predicting things. Warning. So the media recognized this as the warning that it is. So overall, Donald Trump sold his nasty view of the world, his new world disorder, in which he tied immigration and clean energy projects as the two issues that would lead to the, quote, death of Western Europe. Of course, the fact is, which is very obvious, it is the Trump crazy tariff disorder war and the rejection of human rights that leads to the death of the Western world, the death of the civilized world, and also the death of the natural world, the death of nature. We're already doing in nature with our industrial, powerful civilization, and now we've got climate change further boosting and accelerating that rate of extinction of species and wildlife populations everywhere. So, in closing, after almost an hour, Trump said, I just want to repeat that immigration and the high cost of so-called green renewable energy is destroying a large part of the free world and a large part of our planet. End quote. Of course, it's well known that green energy is cheaper than fossil fuel energy and getting even cheaper. Of course, as well as better than planet-destroying fossil fuel energy. And, you know, when I'm talking about planet-destroying fossil fuel energy, you know, we are now getting all over the world unprecedented heat waves, unprecedented droughts, unprecedented floods all over. So this is getting worse rapidly. This is what these scientists are reporting, and they're also reporting it's going to continue to get worse faster. Trump's agenda is literally one of destroying the planet to make money. And that reminds me of a particular quote that I have been using because I find it quite amazing. The quote is well known. The quote is, "The love of money is the root of all evil." It's never been more obvious than today, and never been more obvious than under the Trump administration. So fossil fuel emissions are destroying our future. And to Trump, the future can go to hell, and under fossil fuel corporate dominance, it is on the way to that. Trump and his, as I say, Republican administration, this isn't just only Trump. He's the con man, bully part of this operation. Trump is a money man. He always has been a money man. There's no other consideration. Actually, I do have a final comment about Trump. Trump has proven himself to be a mad megalomaniac. On the 9th of February, Trump posted, it was posted by the White House, of an image of himself, an image of Trump with a gold crown on his head, saying, "Long live the king." On the 26th of February, Trump posted an AI image of himself and a Gaza transformed into a Riviera. So most people have probably heard about this. You keep on hearing about these things and you think, oh, this is just Trump madness. No, they're always his intention. He telegraphs what he's going to do, and that's definitely his intention. You know, there was a massive communist-style gold statue of Trump, and, you know, huge modern buildings and restaurants and stuff. And of course, we're seeing that being put into operation now by the complete demolishment of Gaza and the removal of the Gaza population. And we also have plans of developing Gaza into this so-called Riviera resort. So, final quote is a famous quote attributed to British politician called Burke. And the quote is that the only thing that allows evil to prevail in the world is good people doing nothing. Well, I looked up this quote because it really is so accurate. In actual fact, it goes way back. There's quotes very similar found from the Roman Empire and from ancient Greece. Our people, human beings, have long recognized the capacity of human evil and the fact that we have to stand up against it and we have to oppose it. And today, this is definitely what we have to do. Today, that is literally for our survival. So, thank you for listening. And yeah, oh my God, what an amazing thing. Trump's address to the UN. So, over and out from me.